viewers of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm your host, Dave Cias, here for Spiritual Encrypted Encounters Open Mic Night. For those that are tuning on Restream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing well. So what I'm going to do real quick is share out this live. Yeah, this has been some nice weather this past couple of days, fresh at night, fresh early in the morning. How you doing, Brother Andres Carizales? Hope you're doing great today. So here we go. Let me share out this link. Hopefully we won't have the problems we were having yesterday. How you doing, Sister Madeline? Let me see something here. Let me share out this real quick. So how's everybody been doing today? Hope everybody's been having a great day. There we go. I'm almost done sharing. There we go. I'll share it out. So who do we got here tonight? For Spiritual Encrypted Encounters Open Mic Night. Yeah, here we go. There's a link. It will be pinned up on top of the chat. If anybody wants to jump on, there you go. Open mic night tonight. So how's everybody doing? It's good, Brother Joel, that you're feeling better. Yeah, I've seen the post of people being attacked by their own dogs, and by dogs, a pack of dogs. It's crazy. These people, I don't know what they're doing with their pets. They're training them to be violent, or they're training them to fight other animals, like dog fights. But it's crazy that they put their life in danger. having pets like that, whether it's their pets or somebody else's animals, uh, is crazy. You know, once an animal is trained to kill, and once it tastes blood, that's all it takes for them to go for the kill. Uh, and if they're in twos or threes or fours, uh, you're gonna have to try to kill them, or they're gonna kill you. One of the two. You know, trust me, I've seen what animals can do to bodies being out there in the front lines, and yeah, they're numbers. They'll eat a human being. Now, I've seen those women that got attacked and stuff like that. You know, many stories, even in the past, what, 5 years, 10 years, people getting attacked that they were saying it was either a cougar or a mountain lion, a bear, or a some trying to say they're a dog man or something, or Bigfoot attacking them. Dogs can be very vicious, especially if they have rabies. But if there weren't any packs, yeah, they can be very dangerous. Pit bulls, especially, you know, once it tastes blood, they go berserko, man. You know, we've been seeing a lot of people. There are dogs, you know, they go for the kill, man. Especially if I think there was one where a woman had passed away. By the time they went to go do a health and welfare check on her, her dogs, you know, they were hungry, so they ate the body, you know, of this woman. So, you know, here we go. We got Sister Brenda.
Hiya. Pit bulls hurt so much because they lock their jaws.
Yeah, they got the lockjaw pit
Yeah.
bulls. Um,
But I've known some really, really kind and gentle pit bulls. My daughter, she got one from a rescue. And this poor dog, they tried to put him in dog fights. They would burn him with cigarettes, and
yeah.
he just was not a fighter. So when she got him, I was kind of leery, and I said, be careful because he's already an adult dog. He came from that environment. You never know what he's going to do. But I'm here to tell you that that dog was the biggest ball of goo you ever seen in your life. And he loved me. So, I mean, it all depends on the dog and, how they're treated. And, you know, if you take a human being and you chain them outside all the time, or you lock them in a cage, they're going to eventually become kind of violent when they have to scrap
Or if
for their
you
own
if you
food.
beat them up,
Yeah, you know. I mean, animals, they only have one defense, and that is to bite. That is the only defense that they have. So, it's not like they can draw fists and say, okay, buddy, come on, we're going to go out to the field and we're going to box. I mean, they just don't have that ability. I get very angry at people who use any dog for like a brutal sport like dog fighting, um, or anything like that. It's horrible. I don't. I
we
have
seen
always,
Michael Vick went for prison for that.
yeah, and I've always been the type of person that if I'm going to have an animal, that animal's part of my family, which means it comes inside at night when we all go to bed. It goes out and does its business. If it's way too hot, they come in so they don't die of heat exhaustion. They eat good. They always have fresh water. They're part of the family, you know. I don't like when people get dogs and they just toss them out in their yard and that's where they stay, you know.
There's some people that they use them just for fighting, and this fights or illegal fights. The dogs are or trained to kill.
Yeah.
So that's all they know. They don't know nothing about no love or that you care about them. They train them to
And
kill other dogs. And if they can fish the dog on somebody, if they can fish the dog to fight another dog and kill the dog, the dog will be trained to attack anything or anybody. Especially if they're given the orders by the person in charge of them.
yeah, I
Very.
when I lived in California, I had answered an ad for a Doberman, and he was a red Doberman. He was beautiful, and he was police trained. Okay, he was a good dog, and I used to take him to work with me a lot of times, and he would stand guard. The dog had a nose for drugs. One night I was out there and I was working this construction field where they were building, and they used to have people come and stealing all the stuff in the wood. And so I took him with me. So I'm playing ball with him, and he comes back with this milk carton. And I said, "Where did you get the trash? Don't pick up the trash. Go get the ball." And he stood in front of me. I tossed it. He went and got it. He brought it back. I said, what are you doing?" Then he sat, and I looked at him and I said, "Sarge, this is garbage. We don't need this." Then he growled at me, and I shook it, and I heard something in it. So I opened it up and I poured it into my hand, and in my hand dropped two little brown BBs that were wrapped in a foil paper, and it was heroin. He was bringing me the drugs he found. So
Wow.
I had to call the cops and have them get him. Now he was a very good dog. He was very good for protection. He was good with the kids. One day, my daughter was 3, and he was asleep on the couch next to me. And my daughter and I were playing this game, and I would push her away a little bit. And she'd laugh and come back. When she came back, she accidentally smacked him, and he woke up and he went for my daughter, and I stuck my forearm in his mouth, pulled him by his head, and had to take him outside. And that was it. I had to find him another home, someplace with no kids, because she woke him up out of a dead sleep. But the problem with it was anytime he looked at her after that, he didn't look at her right anymore. So I knew I couldn't trust him with her. But
Yeah.
it was his training. And I mean, other than that little mishap, he used to sit and play tug of war with the kids and all that other stuff. It was just that one thing. But after that one time, anytime he seen her, he just did not look at her the same. And I didn't want him eating my 3-year old, you know. But I'll tell you, but he made a very good dog for a. He went to a single man who was a vet, um, and he was a fit vet. Like he used to go out jogging and all this stuff. Dog used to go with him, and he made a very good companion for him. So, and that's what he needed: a house with no children, you know, just being number one primo dog. But it's all in the training, and I've known people that have had police dogs that when they're off duty, they know they're off duty, and they're the kindest things ever. But don't mess with them the minute they go to work. You know, they're there to do a job, and that's what they're going to do. The when you were
And what's sad about it, some of these dogs that are attacking people, people try to, somebody gets attacked by a dog, the first thing they say, oh, it was a dog, man, or it was a Bigfoot. There's other animals that can attack, but, dogs have the capabilities to do what happened to these people. I've heard their stories. I see what they can do, especially out there in the front lines. They can smell blood from miles and miles away.
yeah,
Just like when they can smell when a female dog's in heat, well, they can smell blood,
oh yeah,
and when they come, they come in numbers, like in packs, and if they're smelling blood, they already know what's in their mind, and it's to eat.
well,
And
I'm
one of the
waiting. They started breeding those dire wolves, the ones that were supposed to stay extinct, and
Mm-hmm.
those things are humongous. I mean, they're like the size they're bigger than ponies. So, one of those things get loose and get out and get a bad attitude, there's going to be a lot of wrongdoing.
Alan Garrigan said, "I don't trust German shepherds. I got two of them,
They're
Rebel
not.
and Rocky."
I had a German Shepherd, and he was a really good dog. He had brain cancer, and he flipped out, so I had to have him put down. But other than that, I'm gonna tell you what, mine was smart. He would squeeze in between an entertainment center and the wall to go to open a window that was very small and squeeze out of there, and I'd find him in the front yard when I come home. And I'm thinking, how did you get in there? How did you get out? Because he was big and he was beautiful. But, like I said, unfortunately, at 2 years old, he had brain cancer, and they had to put him down. And he was humongous. His mom was the number one canine in Austin, and he was huge and beautiful. But the doctor told me, had I not taken him in and had him put down, and I was so tiny at the time that if he would have turned on me, he probably would have killed me. But I've had German Shepherds before, and they've always been very good dogs. They're very smart.
So you've heard the stories of this women getting attacked by dogs.
I I
I
don't.
think there was one last week that got attacked by three of her dogs or four,
Oh my
something like
gosh,
that.
they were her dogs.
I'm thinking they were her dogs. I heard that she lost her limbs and stuff like that.
Oh
There's
my
I see like three
goodness.
different incidents happening where they're dogs that they're saying they were their dogs or dogs that attacked them. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to lose if my dogs attack me is a toenail. Maybe I kind of like it that way.
One
But
thing
yeah,
about dogs,
it's
one thing
weird.
about dogs, or like any kind of animal, is they can sense if you're afraid of them.
Yes.
If they can sense that they're afraid of them, then they're going to try to come and intimidate you.
Yeah.
So that's where, maybe, I don't know, I can't speak to what happened to the woman or whatever, but man, if she was mean with the dogs, maybe they, had enough of her, or if they were trained to fight other dogs, I don't know. I wasn't there. The only thing I can say is
Well,
praise for the individuals, right? It's,
and
it's, it's a bad it's a bad thing.
I have known people that have gotten attacked by their dog, but it was usually because they were extremely mean to their own dog. I mean, dogs have feelings too, you know? And you abuse it for so long, it can only take so much before it snaps, just like a person. They rely on you when you have a pet. You are their whole world. You see beyond everything else that goes on, but a dog only sees you, you know? So it well, I'll tell you what, people are just
Good night, cousin Jesse.
Jesse, you didn't stay long. What did I tell you about that?
He was talking about two Scooby snacks, and then
Oh, maybe that's why he didn't stay. I didn't offer him his Scooby snacks. Gee, Jesse.
he went on ninja mode.
Yeah. Good night, Jesse.
Good night, cousin.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I've heard stories down the line over the years, um, about people that had dogs, and a neighbor dog came over, and the dogs were fighting the neighbor dog to keep the neighbor dog away from the child. And when they found the child, she was bit up, but they found her out of her clothes, and it was because her dogs had grabbed her to get her away from the other dog, and it yanked her clothes right off of the poor kid. And, by the time the father found her, they took her in. I mean, she did okay. She made it and everything, but, they were saying that his dogs did it. And they said there was no way. Those dogs were trained to protect that child. There had to have been something else. And then they ended up finding out that the neighbor's dog got loose and went over there and attacked the little girl. Her dogs were protecting her. So, I mean, I guess it just all depends on.
I'm gonna buy some signs and I'm gonna put on my fence. I'm gonna
Mhm.
put "Beware of Dog Man."
Oh,
I mean,
well,
you hear incidents of this happening. This has been happening for centuries, where a dog's been attacking people. Now all of a sudden, a dog's attacked somebody, and they want to say it's a dog man that did it. So I want to buy me some signs that says "Beware of Dog Man" on my fence. Maybe people stay away.
well, either that or your neighbors will think that you turn into a werewolf and they'll egg your house. Yeah. You
Stay
know,
away. Stay away. I'm gonna put a sign. Stay away on the full moon.
I mean, I think that there are strange things that happen. And, you know, even, I mean, and even these things, if they're spiritual, they can still harm you, you know? But I don't know. I've heard a lot of stories about people getting attacked by dogs, pack of dogs, even coyotes. Now, a coyote by itself, unless it's rabid, it will not. It won't try to go after you
It's never
because
by
they're
itself.
afraid if
Coyote's
it's
never
by
by
itself.
itself.
But
They're
if
running
they're,
back.
I've seen them by themselves. But yeah, if they're in a pack and they're hungry, they'll go after anything. They don't care what it is, even a person.
They will attack.
But my landlord wouldn't let me put up "Beware a Dog" signs on my house. So I had to put signs up in the window that said "dog on premises." That way, if I happen to not be home and there's a fire, at least they know I have animals inside. Go rescue them, you know. But yeah,
Oh, yeah, you got the. I think that that's what people did. They coyotes are everywhere in Texas.
hmm.
They mistake them for a chupacabra,
Well,
and because some of these coyotes they breed with other
wolves.
wild animals, other wild dogs, and then you have a half breed,
I I was
half
watching a
breed dog
show.
that's part coyote and part dog, and when you look at it, you're like, man, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I was watching a show last night when I nodded off to sleep, and they found a coyote that had bred with a wolf, that pup, and man, that was the strangest thing I have ever seen in my life. It was huge and it was ugly. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. Uh, so yeah, the coyotes or they're everywhere in Texas. Uh, Believe it or not, man, when I went to one of the investigations out here, uh, I literally heard. I'm thinking it was a pack of coyotes, but it sounded like jackals or what is it? The ones that laugh, hyenas.
Hyenas. Yeah.
Sounded like hyenas laughing, and I'm like, "There's no hyenas here in Texas." They were like laughing. You could hear them laughing, and it's like, okay, they're around me. They're flanking me from the rear. So I picked up a stick, and so they can know that they try to attack, they're going to get clobbered. So I got out of there, but I could hear them laughing.
I like what Andreas said. He said that he read a story about two chihuahuas that they saved a Shih Tzu by scaring off the attacking coyote and nipping at its ankles. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I got a chihuahua. And when this little sucker gets mad at me, oh God, he I call him a skinwalker because he'll sit and he'll mess with me and he'll get up on my chest, right? And I'll play with him and I'll tickle his jaws and he'll open his mouth a little bit and his tongue will come out and his eyes will be like wide open and he's staring at me. I'm like, get off me, you little skinwalker.
Alan
But
Kerrigan
he's
says
crazy.
he has no coyotes or wolves in my
Oh,
country. But apparently we have the dog man. Uh, could be some kind of animal out there. I don't know what part of the country you're from.
Maddie says, I don't mess with chihuahuas. Actually, they're very intelligent for such small brained little things. Mine is smart as hell. Now, if somebody would have told me that Yorkies are batshit crazy, I may not have gotten the other one that I have, but I have him and we can't take him anywhere. He doesn't even know how to act at home, much less in public. So, but Chihuahuas are actually pretty smart. But yeah,
He's
nasty
from
as fight.
Ireland.
From where Arlen?
Yeah,
And and in Arlen, there's no coyotes or wolves.
I would figure there would be wolves, or
I
but I
mean,
don't know.
hell, in Nolanville, we had a mountain lion out there. When I lived in Salado, there was a bear out there.
Yeah, a bear.
Yeah, I had the cub in my front yard. I couldn't get out of my car until it went away because I don't mess with cubs because I know mommy's not far away.
I've never seen no bear out there, but I ran into cougars, mountain lions, wildcats,
Yeah.
javelinas, of course, rattlesnakes, copperheads,
Oh, yeah.
uh, and I did witness something out there at a tank table. I think we call it tank table 8 or tank table 12. We're door gunnery in Blackwell multi-use range. Yeah, I witnessed something out there that looked like a werewolf. There was two of them standing beside each other, but they were brown. Uh, possibly, possibly, I don't know. Me and my TC seen them as we looked at each other and we said to each other, "You see fucking that?" We said the same thing at the same time, and when we looked back, they were gone. It's like they disappeared in thin air.
Hmm. Hi, Andres.
Yeah,
It
hello.
happened like
What's up,
around
guys?
3 in the morning. We're doing a night fire. We're gonna go get evaluate debrief, and we seen them. They were tall, bipedal, standing on twos, but then they just disappeared, and we just leave it at. He said, sometimes things are best just to leave it alone. Those things live
Right.
in the woods. You know,
That's true. We,
So, how you guys doing this fine evening?
ah, doing all right. I am. I'm gonna go to bed here after a while and get up early in the morning again, just like I've been doing.
Alright, sounds nice. Hey, how about you? You still settling in just fine?
oh yeah, just taking my time, man. I didn't do nothing today. Just chill. Yeah, I need to start those shelves there that I got. I want to set them up, but I think I need to put something else there to hold the shelf stronger. I'm not sure how I'm going to set it up yet, but yeah, we're finally moved everything, just to set up everything now, how we want to have it. That's what we've been working on. But of course, we got to take our time. Can rush into something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're already there.
Oh
Take
yeah,
your time.
I've been sleeping like a baby, sleeping good, no problem.
Good. So what are you up to today, Andres? How you doing?
Nothing much. I'm just trying to figure out a way to spend my time. I bought myself a word search that apparently was in history or facts, something like that. Trying to see if I can knock that down.
Hmm.
Hey, what?
Word search, where you basically like you have to outline or highlight the letters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I need something else to do with my day. I'm also asleep, which is something that like I shouldn't do, but I do it anyway. Can't help it.
It's I don't know. Things have been kind of thrown off like this weekend. I couldn't stay awake. I'd get up for a little while and do some things, and then right back to bed I'd go and lay down. And just relax and put my foot up, and before you knew it, I was out. I'd wake up, it'd be like 3 or 4 hours later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been sleeping all day. Get up. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just want people to understand that animals do migrate. They do move around. They go
Oh
with
yeah, they do.
they migrate with the food,
Seasons.
the
The food
season,
too.
but they follow the deer. A lot of the coyotes and the wild animals, they follow deer season. They follow the deers because that's their food, their food source. So they follow. That's what they follow. You know, some
Hmm.
follow that. Some might follow the javelinas. But the deer is one of the things. Deer's always on the hunt for some reason. You know, poor deers. Poor Rudolph. You know,
Yeah.
it's like they're always on the hunt. You ever see when you're driving on the road sometimes and out of you're driving at nighttime and out of the corner from the when the where the bright light is going out, a deer comes and is fixing a ram into your car. You're trying to figure out, well, why is it running and trying to hit my car? You know, the
Yeah.
question is, what's following it that
Yeah.
is running so scared?
You know what? My mother actually ended up hitting a deer a few years back, and it's a place I wouldn't exactly appear to be at. She ended up hitting it with like the close to like the edge of her truck, and she drove and she drove when she hit it with the corner edge right where the light is, if I remember correctly, with the F-150.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. Damage wasn't too bad, but the deer just apparently decided to take a rest. We thought my mom thought we may have accidentally like hit hit it hard enough to break his hip or leg or whatever, because the thing decided to lay down on the street for a little while. This thing was still fully conscious and all that, and then my mom just literally dialed 911 and told them that we hit a deer and the deer was just lying there, and it was like a few minutes after that the police came shooting down the road, and that's when the thing this like a few minutes before that the deer decided to shoot up and just go over the edge
Yeah. I.
like sorry,
Oh,
keep
go
going.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Makes you think why this thing decided to stay on if it was still like fully capable of moving.
Well, I'll tell you, I was on the road with my ex husband, and they always tell you, and where we were, they had moose. And they always tell you if you get a moose in the middle of the road, do not use your air horn. Okay? Because the air horn makes a noise that sounds threatening to them. And this stupid trucker, he did exactly that. The moose was standing there in the road, traffic is stopped. People are used to it, they live there. Well, apparently, he was too impatient and he laid on the air horn. And I watched this moose take 1 foot, shuffle it on the ground, and start snorting. And with his antlers, he tore the front end of that diesel truck and part of the engine completely apart with just his antlers.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, what? He's taking it out of that truck. That guy just needs to get out and face his fury.
Why would you even shoot? A lot of people die from actually colliding with moose than an actual car crash,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Moose are very durable or very powerful. It's a very
Hmm.
powerful animal. The moose can relatively get away from a car crash from it hitting it. The people in it, not so much.
He would have walked away, and that's what he was doing is he was crossing the road, and when people pulled up they stopped, and he was just kind of looking around at everybody. He would have meandered off the road, nobody was in a hurry, but apparently the trucker was. And the minute we heard the air horn, my ex-husband and I both looked at each other and said, oh shit. And boy, that moose just I targeted that truck. Thank God he didn't target us. And he just went over there, started stomping his foot and snorting. And man, he went head first into the grill. He started there. By the time he got done, that man had lost his front grill, half of his engine, his fenders, And that moose was going for the door before it finally got bored and just shook its head and walked away. And
Oh, fuck.
it was bad. And he did it within a matter of minutes. I mean, he was done. And he just shook his head back and forth and tore that diesel truck apart. I was like, wow. I really wish back then we had phones that had cameras because I would have been recording the whole thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if you can get a few snaps of the damage too before you guys left.
We were laughing so hard driving down the road pointing at the guy because, I mean, it was just stupid.
And
And
this was already known in the area?
yeah, I'm trying to remember where we were. And I remember driving, and it was just a just a 2-lane street that went through like this little itty bitty town. And there were signs that said with a moose on it, and it says, do not use air horns. There were signs that said, do not use air horns. And this idiot lays on his air horn. He got what he deserved. Maybe he didn't know how to read the sign. I don't know, but that was just stupid. Yeah, them moose, man. They are very durable, and I've never really seen one mean. They seem like they're pretty pleasant, just like deer. But you rub them the wrong way, and they're going to stand up for themselves. I mean, like I said, animals, the only animal that can stand up and box you like a man is a dang kangaroo.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey man, you gotta be careful, especially if they get you in the stomach with on the long nails they have on their feet. You gotta be
Yeah.
careful with those.
Yeah.
Or if they
Ostrich can attack that way too.
Oh, yeah. Ostrich are nasty little boogers. But yeah, I mean, so most animals, they use what God gave them. You know, whether it's their antlers, their hooves, their feet, their teeth, you know, it's whatever they can fight back with. I don't know. I don't mess with too much wildlife. You know, if it's hurt, I would try to help. If they're small and I think they've been abandoned and they look terrible, I will take it in and get it well or get it to the proper people to take care of it. But, you know, I would have just been pleasantly pleased just standing there looking at this big old moose because it's not something I see on a daily basis, you know. So
unless you're in Canada or something.
no, we weren't. I'm trying to think where we were. There was a little snow on the ground too, so
You ever heard of a nail guy?
a what?
Antelope? Nail guy?
Antelope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big they are?
Yes.
They're pretty big. They're different than deer, but they're pretty big.
Aren't those the ones with the straight antlers? They're straight.
Yeah, straight or like horns.
Yeah, like sharp at the end. Like, boy, you don't want one of those hitting you.
I thought those were gazelles, unless that's like the same thing with the horns.
Oh, well, yeah, but I think antelope have horns like that kind of too. The gazelles, I know gazelles have the straight ones, but they kind of aim back a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'll tell you what, I'd hate to get hit by is one of those.
It says messenger.com is moving to facebook.com.
What?
Messages on April 15, 2026.
Are they messing around with that stuff again? I'll tell you what.
That's what it's saying.
Oh, Nevaeh's apparently heading to bed now. Well, good night, Nevaeh. Take care and rest well.
Oh, good night, Cynthia.
Good night, Sister Cynthia.
But yeah, I have a friend that has a wildlife preserve up there way in the country out the Clear Creek, just way out there. And he's got deer and gazelle and wild turkeys. And it's like a wildlife preserve, but so many times a year they rent out cabins on the property to take care of stuff like because if you let the wild turkeys and everything and the wild hogs breed a lot, they can be overran. So they open a hunting season up there.
Well, not to mention all the property up there and the vegetation will just be eaten out or destroyed.
Yeah. And we were up there one day because we have a range in the same preserve, but we have a big hill that we
That's a new
use to
guy
get back.
right there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ooh, that's pretty. Isn't that from like Africa or something?
They had Texas. There's a Texas one right there.
Oh, I've never
That's
seen.
a Texas antelope right there.
Yeah,
I've never seen one of those here
What?
before.
it's a nail guy. We have them down in the Rio Grande Valley.
Really? Were they
Wow.
reintroduced or were they always there?
It's called nail guy antelope in Texas, or nail
Huh.
guy. You see how he looks?
Well, he's a buff, that's for sure.
He's got a big neck. It's like a very muscular.
Yeah. I wouldn't mess with
Do
that.
you think maybe that could have been mistaken for a dogman?
Well, I don't think that would have tore somebody up, you know, bad enough to lose limbs, though.
Not to mention the horns on top. It wouldn't be mistaken for a dog man. I think it might have been mistaken for like a goat man, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Or
But look how big it
Baphomet.
is.
That too.
Mm, that is a big kid. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Wow.
I think one of the
I'll
reasons
show,
they're
I'll show a
releasing.
picture how big they are.
Wait, how tall does it say it is?
It's pretty tall, man. Let me get another. I'll send another image of it.
That thing looks like a deer and a bull bred together, and that was their child.
Look at that. That's big, ain't it?
Joel
Yeah,
says it looks like it's on
it's kind of
steroids.
skin. Hardly no fur.
Oh,
No, I mean, it could be mistaken for something. I think that's where it got killed. The bullet is right there. The bullet hole hit it in the heart, I guess.
look at that. Yeah, that is pretty big. I've never seen one of those here. I've seen some weird things, but I've not seen that yet. Wow.
Oh, I thought I was sharing the other one with you.
No, you haven't, Abe. You're still looking
Oh,
at the first image.
I thought you were
Like I
still
was
looking
wondering
for
if you
it.
wanted to switch it or not, but I wasn't sure until he just said it.
I thought he was still looking for it.
I
Here-
wasn't sure if you wanted to switch it until he mentioned it.
Oh, here we go. I was looking at it. I thought I had already switched it.
No, you, no, you didn't.
Nah,
Here,
Abe, you're keeping it to yourself. Oh my goodness, look at that thing.
Whoa, that's a big guy. Hold on, is that like the ideal weight, height, and weight they're supposed to be at that age, or what?
yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it is.
But you see how he's got no fur.
Yeah, he
Which
doesn't
it
have
could
a
be
lot.
you hear about when people say they seen the chupacabra that that it has no fur, blah blah blah. I mean, especially if people are seeing it at nighttime and they see something moving around and it looks like it's got mange, right? That's what it looks like it's got mange.
Yeah.
That's a no
Looks like
guy.
it. And you
So
said
there-
that's like the exit one of the bullet point was apparently through the heart.
yeah, you see the bullet hole right there,
Yeah, right. Yeah, the exit one.
the exit one. Yeah,
So, does it say if those things are known to be aggressive?
I'm not sure, but I would assume they're aggressive. I mean, they got those big old horns.
I'm not even sure if
But
that
you
would.
see how the body looks like? You know, when people describe chupacabra, they has got no fur. I mean, it's possible they could have mistaken it for something else because I think there's wild boars sometimes they have no fur. They might have the mange, but this one has no fur.
Wow.
Yeah, that's massive.
I'm not sure I'd want to eat that if I killed it because I
Well,
wouldn't be afraid. It would
they
be
say that
really
the nail
gamey.
guy it tastes pretty good, the meat and everything. But
Really.
yeah,
Hmm.
would you want to make a hamburger patty off of that, or eat a steak meat? Eat some
I
steak
don't
out of
know.
it.
I've
I've
actually.
eaten I've eaten the nail guy before. Steaks, they're pretty
Oh,
good.
I mean, I've had moose, but moose is so rich that you have to mix it with like hamburger because it is very, very rich. If you just eat it by itself, it is delicious, but you could only eat like a half a hamburger patty because it is so rich that you eat too much of it, you're gonna get sick.
Richard, what exactly? Like all the nutrients, the meat, or what?
Well, if you get moose and you have it grinded up like they do hamburger, when you go to make it, you have to make it into a patty and you have to squeeze it really good because number one, they're very bloody. So you usually will take it and mix it with regular hamburger meat because it is like pure protein and it's very rich, but it tastes really good. Moose is excellent, but yeah, it's very, very high in protein.
This is they're from South. This one is from South. They're from South Texas, where I come
Wow.
from my neck of the woods.
Ooh. Well, Abe, you think of going hunting and trying to get yourself some antelope meat?
I've eaten it before.
You have?
Egg,
The
and
nail
you
guy,
you said it's good.
yeah,
Oh,
Did you eat it as like a hamburger patty or like something simple like a
steak
steak?
steak meat like steak meat.
Huh. Well, right now I'm out in Texas, but you are. If you want to give this the meat from this guy a taste,
I know, right? We can grill it up in the backyard.
Here we go. Let's talk about a little bit about the history of the nail guy because this is that's pretty big.
yep. Hello, Morgan. What's up, man?
Let's talk a little bit about the history of it. Here you go. Our South Texas free roaming nilgai hunts take place on over 15,000 acres of historic Ituria Ranch located in Kennedy and Willacy County. That's where I'm from. Willacy County and coastal plains of South Texas, founded in 1858, is still working cattle ranch stewarded by Ituria family. The area of the South Texas is home to incredible amount of nilgai antelope, white-tailed deer, javelina, and Rio Grande turkeys. Hunts take place from December to April and are conducted in safari style with spot a stalk tactics. All shots will be from the ground from shooting sticks at animals that we have stalked and is unaware of our presence. If you're interested in the real hunt, please take the time to read the rest of the information. Let's look at that.
Oh, they set it up for you to hunt, huh? I bet you it's expensive.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like a controlled population instead of just like normal white-tailed deer. Like, sure they
What?
have.
I
Hmm?
know the wildlife preserve I used to go hunting on. If you wanted a wild turkey, it was
There you
like
go.
15 grand for a wild turkey.
Look how big that sucker is.
Oh my god!
Noga antelope, also known as the blue bulls, was first introduced in Texas in the 1920s. The first pair of Nogai were given as a gift to Caesar Gleberg of the King Ranch in the early 1900s. It was customary to give a pair of something as gifts when visiting. No one remembers who gave them to him, but somebody gave him a pair of nail guy, who were probably named Valentine and Valentina. The initial pair was bred as the Valentina escaped from their pen, but sometime it was decided that Valentine the bull needed some companionship, for he was quite lonely and ornery. At this time, the decision was made to get some more nail guy and release him on the ranch. The San Diego Zoological Garden was a source of five bulls and seven cows, which was brought to the ranch and released in live oaks today known as the Norias Division. From this 13 original guy, the population is now estimated to be more than 50,000 animals, with most
Wow.
of them living east of Highway 77, north of Raymondville, Texas. That's where I'm from, in Kennedy and Williamson County.
Wow. Look at that.
So they would
No, uh, no one. I don't think that they'll let you hunt with an AK-47.
also, hey Justin. Apparently, Justin tweeted in the chat. Apparently, you can train moose and they can be ridden as like a horse.
I wouldn't doubt that. You got to get them probably pretty young, but
Yeah, you gotta get them very young in
yeah,
order to train them.
Yeah, I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, and we have all kinds of animals out there, wildlife. There's a lot of woods. I mean, more dense than here than Central Texas, down there. A lot of mesquite.
yeah,
You got rattlesnakes too, diamondbacks,
yeah. Those.
big diamondback rattlesnakes.
Yeah, they
I
get
think they even have
keepers.
further up uh, towards Corpus. They have or Kingsville, somewhere around there. They have the rattlesnake roundups or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure if this was in Texas, but apparently I saw something on a program. I watched it. I remember a little bit of some bit of TV. Apparently, I'm not sure if it was state it was from, but apparently they do like a roundup of snakes and just kill them. But there's like one messed up thing that the kids do. Like apparently they do like paints with the snake's blood. Apparently,
Well,
Yes, rattlesnake roundup. That's what they call it. They
yeah,
be the guys be getting in the sleeping bag with the rattlesnakes and come out all bit and stuff.
yeah. They get bad in certain places out here. We right where I'm at, our biggest thing here are copperheads, and I've
Mm.
had little babies crawling across my fence. I think that, like I said, where it was at, I know it didn't crawl up there. So I'm guessing maybe a hawk or something, a bird had it because it was young, it was small. Might have been maybe about almost a foot long, but it was going and it was along the top of the fence. And I was like, oh man, I gotta get that out of here. So we needed to flip it over the fence, but I think a bird was carrying it and dropped it. And that's how it ended up where it was. But yeah, I gotta, and I have to watch out in my yard because I have a deck that's built out there and they can get underneath that deck and be sitting under there. And then I got to worry about my little dogs when they go out there to use the bathroom. So we're constantly on snake patrol out there.
you know, I actually saw there's actually an online video, a few online videos that I've seen, maybe one or two. I'm not sure how many exactly, of a hawker actually dropping a snake. I'm not sure what type of snake, but she reacted violently because it dropped right on top of her.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying to happen.
Yes, it would be. If I could hear somebody now, my God, Texas has flying snakes.
Nail guy is very expensive.
Like
Mm,
to hunt or just to uh get or to hunt it or just give away the meat.
Yeah, but in some places where they buy the nail guy, it's expensive.
to hunt?
No, the meat is expensive.
Oh, huh.
Well, if you ever decide to go back into hunting, you at least know a good source of income.
No, I
Right.
don't. I don't do no hunting, man. I knew people that would do the hunting.
I used to
I knew
hunt.
people. I knew people that would do illegal hunting
Mm,
during the off season. You know,
Nope. I had
deer,
licenses. I used to hunt and I used to fish.
javelinas. I guess you call them poachers.
Yeah,
Those is always trying to sell something that they killed just to make some money. Just like a new people that will fight the roosters, the fighting roosters. They'll be gambling and stuff like that. They will be fighting animals, and but I never got involved in that.
yeah, that's kind of horrible.
You know,
I
I
mean,
couldn't.
it's bad enough that I know that people, these animals out in the wild, it's a dog eat dog, you know. But I was watching this one video and it showed a lion, and the lion had something. I don't even know what it was, and it was in his paws, and he was just laying there on the ground, just going to town on it. And I hate it for whatever that poor little innocent thing is that it had, but I know that that's just the way they live. So, but when you're sitting here putting roosters or dogs in a pen and teaching them to be mean and try to kill each other, that's horrible. That's horrible. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's real bad. But man, that thing is pretty huge. If I
Yeah,
seen that thing coming at me in the dead of night, I really wouldn't know what it is. I mean, the shape of its face with those little straight horns on it, I would think Satan. Is that you?
yeah,
I mean, I mean that would not be something I'd want to run into in the middle of the night. That's for sure. You just see its little glowing eyes. Mm-mm. That's pretty bad. We have been up here talking about animals for almost an hour.
Yeah, we have.
yeah. There's a lot of hunters at Tin Nugent. Yeah, he's always on the hunt. He's been having a show of hunting for a long time. And one
And
of the channels
yeah,
that
I haven't been hunting in a long time. Of course, I used to go in a deer stand, but it's a little hard to hop up there one leg. I don't recommend it.
yeah, this especially at nighttime. If people are not aware of their surroundings and the animals that are out there, they could easily mistake it for something else. Especially if they get scared. Your mind starts wandering off, thinking it's something else.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot of times that somebody thinking it's a Bigfoot or thinking it's a dog man, but it's really something else. You know,
What would you think, Andreas, if that big old thing in the middle of the night came sneaking out of the brush?
if you
I
would have just seen part of the body, you'll be like, man, this is chupacabra.
they would not be not for me. Like I've been into this stuff since I was little. Like I started watching a show called like Lost Tapes that showed up on Animal Planet, but it was more like a
Yeah,
very poverty. So I already know that I knew that that animal would be something like fur or something. Despite the fur on that thing looking thin, but I know it wouldn't be something like supernatural that like a chupacabra or Bigfoot because most people they only focus on what they really see what the light shines. So you really got to think about what kind of flashlight they're using, and you got to use
mm.
the same flashlight in the dark too to see what they see first. That's what I would do if I was
Well, they'll
recon.
sense you. That these animals, they're hunters. That they hunt at night.
I
They sense it. They smell your scent first. First of all,
I'm
you
figuring out.
know, certain individual probably be smelling like butter. I ain't saying no names. It'd be smelling like butter and popcorn or corn.
butter popcorn.
Uh, and then, of course, they're gonna smell the smell of fear because he's a scaredy cat. So yeah, they'll if they're hunters, they'll go after them because they'll sense a fear. I don't know if they're because of the fear of the popcorn or the smell of butter, But either or, the animal will get attracted to the scent of fear because they smell the scent.
Yeah, well, that thing, that the mountain lion that I seen when I was out there in Nolanville, I was in a dispatch office dispatching, and it just kind of wandered onto the property, was on the roof for a while because I heard it up there walking around. Didn't know what it was. And then by the time the dog started barking inside the building, and I thought maybe she wanted to go out, and I went to the door and I seen it out there, and it was right there in the parking lot, nosing around by the door. Went over to all the cars that were parked on the side and decided to spray them all. And I thought, boy, those are going to be some pissed off people when they get back here to their cars. They're going to have to go wash them. But that thing hung out for a long time, and that mountain lion was huge. And it was bad because the first thing I thought of was just maybe 2 blocks away, there was a goat farm down there. And I thought, uh-oh, boy, I hope they got their goats inside.
Yeah, but the ones that it's in a video, deers when they start fighting, sometimes they do stand on their hinds, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They could be fighting on their hinds for a while, but supporting each other, or no. But if you see something running on twos like that across a field and they're not fighting, you're like, what the f is that? Imagine something looking like a what do you call it, leopard or a jaguar spotted a cat, a feline with spots, black spots, running on twos. You're like, what the?
yeah. Now
uh,
that would shock me because most of the feline things don't run on twos.
they don't run on twos.
No.
But what if that these things, that as time is changing, they're they adapt to the environment. You might never know, right? That animals species can change
Yeah, I
in
pretty
a
much
certain way.
like the animal.
Yeah, I've really never seen. But the only thing I've ever seen run on twos like that would be a kangaroo, uh, maybe a bear walking on twos. But something
Yeah.
running on twos like that is suspicious, right?
Yeah, it is. When you just
Well,
was mentioning into the freaking population, I automatically thought of like the alligators that they have in the sewers, like they do in California or even like Florida, because it's more prominent in Florida. And people saying they see eyes poking out of the gutters or whatever.
yeah, I wouldn't like that either. All I can say is I'm armed everywhere I go, so it would be open season for me if I seen something like that standing up, walking out of the bush, coming towards me. I'd be like, oh no, not today.
Yeah, I gotta agree with something that Justin said. He says like what really sets these encounters from like possible fakes or kind of normal animals like the animal you just showed, Abe, is that there's a good bit of them always mention like the evil presence that you feel from like the inside. It's almost like as if your spirit's warning you, this ain't normal, this is bad, get out of here.
Yeah,
I
that
think that's
instinct. And you know what? You're right because I can tell the difference between just me having fear or the presence of something evil. It's a completely different feeling. Like it's heavier. So I mean, yeah, if there was a big old animal, well, like that night that I came home at 3 in the morning and I had that little cubby bear playing in my yard, and when I first pulled up, I thought it was a stray dog, and I was going to get out of my car and tell it to get somewhere. Then when I realized what it was, I was standing there with my car door open, and I looked and noticed it was a little bear. And I thought, uh-oh, and I got right back in my car and I sat there for almost 45 minutes while this thing played in the yard. And then all of a sudden it looked up towards the woods and it took off. And I thought, oh, good, mommy must have called it. Now I can go in and go to bed. And I hightailed it. I got out of my car. I don't even remember if I locked my car that night. And I ran into the house and the front door, slammed it behind me, and locked it. Said,
Here's
yep.
the nine creatures that can walk on their hind legs: meerkats, cockatoo, kangaroo, bears, flamingos, emu, penguins, ostrich, and gorilla.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
So, so me seeing something that looked like a feline or a cat with spots running across on twos would be impossible, I guess. But that's what the shaped skinwalkers can do. I believe.
Yeah. Now I would definitely think that there'd be something wrong with that if I seen a big old
There's
a
lizards that can run
panther.
on two feet on their
Yes.
two. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. No, I don't want no big old cat running around on two legs. I would be like, no, that is not normal.
Actually, there's like a Black Panther legend that was like that, an encounter that happened here in Illinois. There's
Really?
there is. I don't remember where, but it's definitely in Illinois. What the encounter is usually said. The guy told it a few times. I managed to see one of them on TV from a TV show. Is that this guy actually saw like a Black Panther in the path after he was getting a car because apparently he did like a car that job is where you just hook up the car and you bring it back to your shop. Well, I forgot what the name is. And as he was doing it, and he was walking back to his freaking vehicle, he was actually attacked by a Black Panther with red eyes, and the force of this thing tackling him shoved him into the middle of the street. And this thing decided like clawing his face out, and it was aiming for his throat, but he managed to keep it at bay. And thankfully, another car was coming from I think it was like the right side of him, and the creature, the panther, saw it too, and that's when it decided it didn't want to get seen either. And this thing decided to go back to the woods, but when it did, it didn't walk on fours. It decided to walk up on its hind legs and then walk back to the woods. That
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that would have startled like everybody. Why is this thing using two legs instead of going on all fours and doing it?
Yeah.
And this Black Panther wasn't like your ordinary size of a mountain lion or cougar. This thing was at least had to be four times that size, in my opinion.
When I lived in Arizona, of course, in Arizona, it's legal to own anything. I had a neighbor that used to breed leopards, and
We're
she
talking
would.
like a man from freaking Africa, right? Not like Pep-
Well, they were black on the top, but they had the spotted bellies. What are those? Panthers?
I have no idea.
Well, she used to breed them, and she would sell their kits, their babies, and they were really friendly. Like you could go up to the fence, and if you knew they were friendly, and you could pet them, and they were really nice. But I mean, just walking down the street, you see those in somebody's yard, you're definitely going to avoid their yard if you don't know them. And I really highly doubt you would break into their house. But she did. She used to sell them. They'd be out there playing. I've seen them get up on their hind legs and kind of bounce around a little bit, but not walk on them. You know, they would just kind of bounce like they would be playing, and they'd bounce on their hind legs, kind of like they would look kind of like a kangaroo, but they didn't stay up on their hind legs for very long, and they definitely didn't walk on them.
Yeah,
So,
I actually heard if certain animals do that for too long, it actually causes abnormal. It affects them in an unnatural way. It prevents them from walking like they normally would. Apparently,
yeah.
from what I've heard. And yeah, Justin, I gotta agree with you. If it had red eyes, it's gotta be some kind of demonic thing. And I've
So,
also heard some legends of spiritual black cats too.
yes. Yes. The natives out in Arizona used to talk about those all the time.
There you go. I got one here for y'all. Let me see. I can share it here. This one, the ones from Elms Grove that I captured.
Oh, okay.
Of a black cat? Oh, that's like more like a monkey because of the tail, in my opinion.
Oh, wow.
Brandon, do you remember this photo or no?
Yeah.
Oh.
Unclean
What?
spirit. Unclean spirit. In spirit form, you can see it's darker than it's like darker than night. It's like pitch
Yeah.
black, and it's during the day
It
on the
does
trail.
kind of look like a monkey.
I mostly say that because like of the tail behind it, and it looks like it's using his arms and legs to hang onto the tree. In my opinion, I don't know about you guys.
Hmm. I'll tell you, Abe catches the best stuff.
It's one of those pictures. It's like, what the f is that?
Yeah. I mean, you know that there is something there. It, you may not know exactly what it's trying to be, but there definitely is something there.
And if you really look, there's like other things around there. Like, for example, I'll give an example. If you see here, it looks like a woman's face. There and there, two women's face,
No.
like images of faces up here too. You see many
Wow.
things when in the pictures, that you're like, what the hell is that? Because you can see this looks like old lady here, old lady's face, and then this like a younger woman. And over here is like something with a nose, with two eyes. But then you got this dark entity, there.
Abe, do you think you're like sharing the photo, or is it still the photo you're showing now?
Was it?
Like, is it the photo you're showing now that has the two faces, or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pointing them out right now. The faces. Here's one of the faces right here. Looks like an older woman. Then the other face is right here, a younger woman. Then up here is something with a long nose. I know you can see that. It's got a long nose and two black eyes with
Actually,
a
yeah, I
mouth.
see that kind of looks like a an ostrich head.
Do you see the nose? How long it is?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see what you mean by like the young woman who's like in the face is in like the middle. Well, looks like it.
Right here.
We can't see your mouse, Abe.
Yeah. Oh shit. You can't see the mouse?
I can't. I'm not sure if Brenda can.
Can you see it, Brenda? Me moving the mouse?
No, but I am looking up here where you're pointing at the faces. Well, I'm
There, there,
looking at the
there.
faces. I can't see your pointer though, but that's okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, let me make it bigger.
What do you guys think about the whole of my theory of being a monkey? Like, I'm mostly saying the monkey because it's like it's hugging around the tree, and because of the tail behind it.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, it could be more than one thing trying to morph into two different things, and it's looking like a
Yeah.
monkey.
I don't think it's a monkey. I think it's more of a clean spirit.
Yeah,
Like Gideon.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's what they do. I
I
mean, they
just
can manifest to look like a monkey or like an animal,
I
but
just monkey because it reminds
if
me of.
if they have
Yeah.
jurisdiction or they're territorial, that will mean that they have spirits around them. That they got spirits that are trapped with them, in which I'm able to see those faces of those women there. You know, but I was thinking about going there and doing an investigation, me and my bro, but I said, man, I don't know if I want to go there. I just moved to a new home. I need nothing
Yeah,
following me.
yeah. You should hold off on any investigations until you're like fully settled in.
Yeah.
Afterward, maybe go on it, but I would recommend waiting like at least another, I don't know, couple weeks, maybe a month, to make sure like you don't accidentally bring something home.
Yeah.
Let me take that off
That would
the.
be a bad idea. Just move in there. You don't even have stuff put together yet, and you bring home something strange.
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to ask real quick. Did you throw away that box that was on your front porch, or did the thing just get rusted away by like a storm or something?
Was it?
The box that was like in front of your front door before you actually got there, did you like throw it away? Get rid of it?
No, it's still out there in the front.
Uh,
I figured maybe they're gonna. It's like a part or something in it, but nothing has happened anymore. It was just trying to get used to the house. It was like my first night that I had spent the night here. So now that I live in the house, I'm getting to know the house. Echoes, and sometimes you're gonna hear the routines of the other dogs in the neighborhood. Like your neighbors have dogs, and in which some of the noises that I was hearing will make sense. There's an old dog that's right behind our house, and he's always coughing. When I thought I heard somebody coughing. Well, it wasn't something coughing. It was a dog in the backyard that was coughing. It's an old dog, so it sounds
Oh,
like an old man coughing.
poor thing.
Yeah,
You're like, hey, you need a cough drop? That's nuts. So people all around you, they all have dogs.
yeah. There's a lot of our neighbors to the right, neighbors to the rear have dogs, except the left, not the people to the right, but behind us. But we built a fence. Yeah, we've been pretty busy. But her son, stepson, he built the fence. I helped him a little bit, but he did most of the work.
You guys put up a wooden fence?
Yeah, wooden fence.
That's good. Then the dogs can only smell each other, but they can't see each other. And chain link is dogs can get hurt fighting through chain link because they will. So yeah, it's always best to have wooden fences.
Then my other phone that I had, I will use it to work on my videos. It gave out on me. It's not working no more. I don't know what
Uh-oh.
happened.
oh, that
It
sucks.
just, yeah. So I had to find another phone, cheap phone, just to be able to work on the videos. I don't know. It gave out.
Oh,
How it gave out, I do not know.
It just had enough, huh?
But there is one room, the closet in my bedroom, that opens up by itself. But I
Oh,
think it's because there's pressure there. There's pressure inside that room. Where the pressure is coming from, I don't know. But I've literally seen the door open by itself. Like it's shut, closed, and it just opens up. But it's kind of like it's got pressure in there. There's in the attic. There's a fan that keeps the heat out of the attic, and I'm thinking that's where the pressure might be coming from. I'm not sure,
hmm.
but
Well,
besides that, the house is very fresh and everything.
as long as it doesn't open and close on its own, then I think you might be all right.
Yeah, and the bad thing it's on the side of my where I sleep.
Oh,
oh, that sucks.
So imagine you go to sleep with the closet door closed, and then you wake up and the door's wide open. It's like, oh, there was one day that I shut it. I was laying down. I was like, I shut the door. I swung it without getting up, and then it just swung back open, like it was closed. And then it's like, got swung back open. I was like, okay, there's got to be a logical explanation to this.
Oh, maybe something's off on the floor over there or
Yeah.
something. Could be. Well, just whatever you do when it creaks open, don't say, come in.
Uh,
Yep.
was weird. And that when we moved into the house, in that closet was a what do you call it? A dresser.
Oh,
Is
say
one of you
that.
saying or something?
What,
Yeah,
Andres?
there was a dresser in the closet. It's not there no more. We pulled it out, and I think my stepson he's using it.
Oh,
But yeah, there used to be a dresser in there that came with the house.
Huh.
But besides that, man, it's been pretty peaceful here. It's Do you hear that in the background?
Yeah, that's what I was going to refer to. It sounds like either feedback or some kind of suction noise, in my opinion.
water.
It's water.
Yeah,
Water.
it's water running.
Oh,
I'm a woman. I'm used to sink water running noises.
Yeah, their restroom. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. It makes a loud noise. My restroom doesn't run that far. That you use my restroom, it shuts real quick. But this one is like
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe it's a big tank or something.
Could be, or it sits closest to the main line that runs to the sewer.
Probably that's what it is.
Yeah. How big is your house? You got like 3 or 4 bedrooms, two
Uh,
baths.
I got a 3 bedroom and 2 bath
That's not bad,
and 2 living rooms, and then we got the other little house in the back, which is
right?
1 bedroom, and it's got it's like a shop. It's got like a two-car garage or a garage, so it's a room with a garage, and there's where my stepson lives. It's a little house.
Well,
You
that's
know.
kind of cool. He can get a
Yeah,
microwave and a mini
yeah,
fridge
yeah.
thrown
He
there.
already got it how he wants to have it.
There you go.
So yeah, it was a blessing. I was thinking of making the house in the back like the spiritual encrypted encounter studio. You know,
Oh,
but then I was like, you know what, because he kind of like he likes working on like weed eaters, lawnmowers, and all that kind of stuff. And then he cuts the grass and everything. So I was just, you can use it. I'll set up here inside the house.
well, eventually kids get tired of being at home and they move away.
Yeah,
So you may have a chance at that one way or
yeah.
another.
I'm just, I'm happy here. This nice sectional that I bought with. It's got 3 recliners on it. It's very comfortable. So I use it to rest my feet.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten. I'm still injured from my right leg. It's still healing.
Is that big mark still on your leg back there?
Yeah, it's still there. It just gonna take time to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there, man, that you can be mistaken for something else. But I'm not going to deny that the shadow figures out there at nighttime because I've seen them here in Central Texas. I've seen the the werewolves, or should I say, shifter skinwalkers in Central Texas, and the manifestation of the uh, what they call them lycanthropes, right? Lycanthropes, werewolves. I've seen them at Belton Lake.
Yeah.
at
Especially
Belton
at night.
and running on twos, and they're like I would say like 9 foot, 10 foot tall, and they blend in with the darkness. So if you see something moving very fast beside you, and you feel the gust of wind beside you, get it? When I said the gust of wind, what is it? Is it a lycanthrope, werewolf, shift skinwalker? Or you feel the wind pass beside you? Is it a, I won't say the name because they're not to say the name, a wind,
Yeah.
IGO,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they move very fast. I'm telling you, if I were to take y'all out there to these locations where it's hot, you'll probably freak out because they're going to surface up. No, I just don't want nobody to get spiritually attacked.
Ow.
And there's been a lot of bodies being found in that lake,
Yes, there has.
at Belton Lake.
Seems to be a dumping ground.
People,
Yep.
they found dead bodies, and every time they're lowered down the reservoir, they find that dead bodies down there. What's killing the people? I don't know. I know some locations on land they've been finding dead bodies out there
Hmm.
of people shredded, eaten by something.
Is connection fine on your guys' end? Because mine just cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine over here.
All right. But yeah, I gotta agree with Morgan. It's good to see you're doing everything. Everything's going okay for you, Abe. Good to see you're doing okay. And then hopefully everything's gonna be okay for a while.
Yeah. I think it's good there. He doesn't have all the old things hanging around that were hanging around the old house. You said you're getting better rest, Abe, so
Oh yeah, resting better and everything. I stay up, watch movies on a recliner. I have no activity. I mean, sometimes you hear the dogs barking if a vehicle is nearby or something like that. But besides that,
yeah.
even the dog's demeanor has changed. They're not like all on the guards. They're relaxed and they're enjoying the environment. The new home and they're not
Yeah.
like in Elms Grove. I know there's something about that house.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when a house is being infiltrated by the enemy or unseen forces, the no matter how much you clean it, it's still going to be dirty.
Yeah. That's true.
It's going to stay unclean because that's the only way the unseen forces, right, can have a stronghold over the house to keep it dirty. We cleaned this house from one day, and then we went back and it was dirty again, and we're like, man, we moved everything out of here. How is this possible?
Yeah. Well, and also another thing, depending on where you're at out here in Texas, I swear, homes in Texas, they're like big dust bunny collectors. Like I
Yeah,
could dust my house and not even 24 hours later there's more dust. It's like, "Oh my god." And I wonder why I have allergies. It's terrible. So, and this place is worse than the old place I used to live. I didn't hardly ever have to dust out there. I didn't have a problem with dust, but this one here, and we sit higher than everything else around us because there's a big old hill that goes down to the trailer park uh, behind us. You have to go down a big hill. You climb a hill till you can get in here. So I guess being higher up where all the winds are and it just drags everything in and out of the house. It's terrible. It's unbelievable how many times I have to go across my living room floor with a mop before it finally is clean. So I don't know. But I am going to jump off here. My pills are starting to kick in, and I'm
Alrighty, Sister Brenda, thank you for being on. I was going to share one picture here from this is from here, but
oh,
thank you for jumping on.
I'll
Uh,
uh, I'll watch because I'm not quite ready to lay down yet, but I'm kind of having a hard time keeping my eyes open. But I'll look at the picture. I'll be able to see it.
okay,
All right. Well, thanks for having me up. Good night to you, Andres, and God bless you guys. And I'll go ahead and see the picture here.
All right, good night, Brenda. If it'll be
good,
Ab. But
good night, Sister Brenda.
God bless you, sister. Okay, is it me or do I straight up see some kind of demonic face?
Yeah,
Like it is right there smiling at me.
yeah. There's two of them. There's that one right there that's in the middle, kind of in the middle, and then to the right there's one standing, looking down at it.
Is it
So
like near?
let me see if I can point it out for you. I know you can see the arrow here, but I will have to go to the picture.
Yeah, I can still not see your pointer. I still
Can
can't
you
see it.
see Can you see it here?
Nope. Like I can see one.
Okay.
I can see your cursor
Yeah, the
point.
cursor.
Nope. I have no idea why.
So were you seeing the one that is like is smiling?
Yeah,
If you go to the right and look up, you'll be able to see another face up there.
I can see something there.
Yeah, looking down at it. Yeah, kind of like the almost the same features of the face as the other one, but different because it's looking down at it. Yeah,
Yeah, you can
you
definitely see,
know,
on where you're pointing at.
was it
I said I can definitely see something where you're saying something is at.
the one right there to the left, and then with the first one that you're seeing that looked like a smiling. Then if you go to the right and go up, you'll be able to see a face looking down at the one that's smiling.
Yeah,
The one on the right is taller.
yeah, it definitely looks taller.
Yeah, it's just like you can see the face and everything up here. You know, when we talk about like one of them will kind of looks like if it's like a lycanthrope because the other one has more human-like features, which will look like more like what people want to call a Sasquatch, which is the one that's standing to the right. But we know that the DDN have the capabilities to manifest or whatever they want to. Another thing that stands out in this picture is the dark energy that's around there, the black that's around both of those entities, right? In which, to me, they're the DDN, just taking a manifestation. But yeah, I haven't gone back out there, man, investigating or nothing like that.
Well, I think it's great you haven't been out investigating. You needed a break, and this move was like a good break for you.
Oh yeah, I was. Everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, there's two bin YouTube. There's two there, definitely two, possibly more. But the the unclean spirits they have black on them, which you can see black there also of the unclean spirit. I think they're just manifestations. Yeah. Take that one off, right? Well, I'm just sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been taking a break from all the investigatings. I know my brother's been wanting to go to a couple of areas. Let me take the picture of
How's he
my
doing?
dog. My dog started barking,
Yeah, I heard him.
which is Rocky. Rocky is the one that guards. I normally would keep Rebel here, but now I got Rebel to guard the other side because we had a Rocky, Rebel, and then there was two females, which was Belle and Albo. But they wouldn't keep them in the. They wouldn't guard nothing. The males are the ones that were guard. But yeah, this is when if I go outside, it's well lit. The corners there's light poles, so the block is kind of well lit. Is just a different atmosphere here in a good way. But yeah, you got to be careful when you're out there investigating at nighttime. You got to stay not just prepared physically, but spiritually, because you don't know what you're going to run into out there.
Yeah.
The spirits, they know if you're on the right path or not. That's how they attack, right?
Uh-huh.
If they see somebody with a spiritual opening, they'll attack, or they'll try to throw you off track to see if it can find a spiritual opening. But that's why you have to maintain your heavenly love foundation of what I talk about here in spiritual encrypted encounters, and have no fear because Jesus Christ is with you. Trust me. When I was surrounded by the six, they looked like their silhouettes looked like werewolves. Man, they were tall, 10 foot, 9, 10 foot. They were tall, taller than I was. I looked like a midget, and I could see their eyes shine white. They were looking down at me. You know, I had three choices. I could have gone into the creek. I could have gone to the highway, but I knew that I could not be afraid or show any kind of fear because that's how real animals attack. If they sense fear, and spiritually, that's how the unclean spirits attack if they sense fear. So the only thing I could do, is go into prayer. I said the Our Father, the deliverance prayer. That's a prayer that I said that evening, and it protected me. If they were real, they would have attacked. But they acknowledged the Our Father, the prayer of the Our Father, and all six of them, as I was walking through the middle of the path, going back the same way I traveled in there, they kept on saying, they were saying, the Holy One, the Holy One. They acknowledged the Our Father, the deliverance prayer. They acknowledged it by saying, the Holy One, the Holy One, the Holy One. And I never looked back. I never looked back. I just kept on walking forward with my faith and believe in Jesus Christ. But I was in a situation there. Uh, I'm just letting you know that fear has to be out of the equation in order for you to survive a situation with a wild animal or something spiritual.
Yeah, fear is a pretty tough opponent, but you gotta cast it off anyway. Because, like you say, these things can sense it and no latch onto it like a lifeline. But Christ is our lifeline. You gotta latch onto him like Peter did.
Yeah. I was surrounded by six tall figures, man. They looked like werewolves. At that time I didn't know them as dog, and I've always known them as werewolves. I think lycanthropes is a term also, but me growing up in the times that I grew up in, I knew them as werewolves. Uh, the first time I ever heard them even called Dogman was when I was told to contact Vic Kondo. That's the first time I ever heard a werewolf be called a Dogman. And I'm like, why is it being called a Dogman if it's a werewolf? I think it's be called a werewolf, right? Or a lycanthrope or longer than he's been called a dogman. Am I correct?
Yeah, I gotta
That's
agree.
what I was trying to figure out. Why are they calling something that looks like a werewolf, right? A dogman. I mean, does it have a face of a dog, of a chihuahua, or a? It has a face of a wolf, werewolf. But this one, I found out that is a battle. I found out more and more and more about not giving them belief, power of belief, because you're giving the power of belief that what you're witnessing, and they have dominion over you to attack spiritually also. So it's one of those things that you really have to pay attention to what you're giving power to. Even if it growled, they growled right in front of my face. I heard a growl, and I didn't give it no fear, and I didn't get no power of belief. I just went into prayer. I mean, it was like 2 feet, 3 feet away from me, and it growled real loud. And I'm looking, and I see nothing. So I went into prayer, started praying and got out of there, got out of the path. You know how many times that I walked there at nighttime because activity was happening around my home, and I always felt that I was a target, right? That they were coming after me because of the encounter I had in the woods. I said, okay, I got to protect my family. So what I would do is get out of the house, I protect the home with spiritual crosses, holy water, or pray around the house, and then I would go to their location. So if they had something against me, then they're going to reveal themselves to me, right? But to fight spiritually against them. So it was like a constant spiritual warfare, man. The battle for many years there. You could say like 15 years of my life, or 13 years out of my life was fighting the Chip Skinwalkers, DDN, whatever you want to call them, there in Elms Grove. But thank God that the Heavenly Father has blessed me. I got me a new start, new home. I'm married, happily married, and I'm able to do the good works that I'm doing. I'm just trying to bring awareness to the spiritual, paranormal, cryptid, whatever communities that want to listen or hear, that you have to be careful what you're giving power to. The more you give something power, the more power it's going to have over you. There's a question right there from Alan. It
Yeah,
goes to you, directly to you.
in terms of the whole Patty thing, I was always like, okay, I'll admit, at first when I was younger, when I first saw the film on like random YouTube videos, I thought it was like maybe real. But nowadays, as I got older, I started wondering because I started getting more into Bigfoot, and then I started hearing all the spiritual powers that Bigfoot has, like the mind speak, people blacking out, and then Bigfoot going into trees like they're portals. I'm on the fence about it, but I'm leaning more towards Patty, maybe fake, mostly because like one of the guys mentioned that Patty actually seen them, and that's when apparently she decided to go past the whole a clear area. And I'm wondering why didn't Patty do any of the spiritual stuff that these Bigfoot are capable of? Why didn't she, or why didn't she run? Like all these Bigfoot have always been described, even at the supposed encounters that look very physical, they're known as being fast and strong. So why did she just keep walking away? And not to mention, she clearly heard the horses and heard these guys heading towards her. Not to mention, and I can understand her looking back and seeing if she was being followed, but why not just do any of the spiritual stuff? It's almost like a part of Patty wanted to be caught on camera. If that makes any sense.
And it stayed a certain distance
Yeah.
because that was a game plan. If you stay a certain distance, you're not able to tell that he's a person in a costume. But you could tell it's a person by the walk. I've seen my first sergeant. He was from Kentucky, and he had this certain hillbilly walk, man, that I could tell that it's a person in a costume. When you're in the military, you deal with so many soldiers, people from different states. You could tell who's who. And just the walk. My first sergeant was tall. First Sergeant Lynch. He was from Kentucky. He was very tall, and he had the nickname they gave him was Bigfoot. And the reason they gave him the nickname Bigfoot. Imagine a Humvee, and it's got the rail, and he's hanging his arm like this, and he's a tall guy just hanging like that. So the way he's looking is like, man. Then when he gets off, he's walking. He's got the weird walk, man. Hillbilly walk, and they will call him Sasquatch or Bigfoot because of it's the same walk like the person in the costume. But